So Lee, why don't you tell us kind of what you hope to get out of these extra games and helping your kids kind of overcome the disappointment of not making the NCAAs?
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're always trying to get stuff out of it, but I think for us it's just a great uh kind of I don't want to say a reward, but I think our teams earn the opportunity to play in meaningful games, at this time of year, and I hope they know that, and want to convey that to them. And I think there's a disappointment for sure, but also we got an opportunity to go do something pretty cool we can build our fan base, can build our team, can build on the momentum of the season and just go out and show what kind of team we are.
When you point out growth to the team from the beginning of the season to now, what things do you bring up to them to let them know this is where you've made a lot of progress?
I we had a practice last week where we did some things that kind of were we've periodically done, but we did some things that they just look. I mean, I can think back to the first days of the summer when we were doing them, and it was tangibly just so much smoother, so much better in how we executed it. And so I think they see that. Um, but I think they know based on how we're playing lately that we've had some growth, even in a short period of time when we played Colorado once and really didn't play too well. And to come back here and beat them, by double digits on our home court kind of shows the growth from that. And then taking that momentum into the Big 12 tournament, I think they understand, what we're capable of and the growth that we've made over the course of the season. And for most everybody, uh, I can't imagine anybody not being glad that we're still playing meaningful games.
I guess I'll keep going. What kind of leadership has your group been able to provide for the younger players, especially with Delaney because she was injured, and that kind of maybe puts a little bit of a damper on that at some point. But as things got going better, how much leadership was there involved in getting those young players
Yeah,
to
I
where they
think
need?
I think that from a broad perspective, like we've gotten a lot of really good things out of this season as it pertains to our program, you know. Um, and you can not dwell on it, but you can see some of that as you take a step back. I mean, everybody's disappointed not making it in the NCAA tournament because that's ultimately the goal. But as you take a broad step back and look, I mean, even with Delaney being injured, some people got to play that maybe have not got to play as much, had she been healthy. And we integrated a kind of a freshman class with a returning group, and then added Lara out of the portal, and just some of the synergy that's come of the group in general is something to be optimistic about, even going into this WBIT tournament. And I think there, from a coach's point of view, you want to see that growth that we're talking about, right? Like players getting better individually, the group getting better as a whole, individually getting better talent-wise or schematically understanding, what we're trying to do in a given situation, and being able to step back and kind of let them lead in a way. I think there's been tremendous growth there. And I don't want to focus on the future because we're in the here and now, but the momentum that's been built to this point for the future, but even for this tournament, right? I think there's a hunger and a passion that's still there, and you can tell based on reaction to last night or the approach and mindset and practices last week or even today. I think that we're in a good place this time of the season because of some of that growth and development.
What was the reaction last night when you guys found out?
Frustration, disappointment. Uh, what's the word for mad for a group? Upset, a little upsetting. Uh, but also, hey, there's disappointment in life, and it's more about what you do with them than the actual disappointment. We came essentially for me to wrap my head around it. We gotta in the future, or even now, like we left it up to chance, and if you're gonna leave it up to chance, then there's a chance you could walk away a little frustrated, and so whatever moment or game or whether it's Cincinnati at home or Arizona on the road or how we played and performed against TCU in the Big 12 tournament or whatever. You can't leave it up. Can't leave it up to chance. Can't leave it up to a ref in a game, and you got to handle your business and leave no doubt.
Lee, I know you just said you wanted to focus on the now, but I did have, I don't know where you guys are at as far as your recruiting classes. Are you allowed to talk about the people
Can't
who you
talk about
signed?
specific players, but I think if they have signed even, I, I mean, there's some that have signed that could talk about, but I'm probably not going to go there right now.
Okay, I just, like I said, I wasn't quite sure where we're
Great.
at.
Got to feel really
I,
good about the future, but really excited about Thursday and beyond that.
Lee, how frustrating was it that Arizona State got in over your team being,
I knew that was going to come up. Here's the thing. I know the metrics were close, and uh, I thought that the head to head would weigh out, but I'm glad the Big 12 got 8 teams in. I was hoping for 9, truthfully. Uh, and if it wasn't gonna be us, I'm glad that it's Arizona State and their program. They've done a great job, and reward those players. They've had a pretty good year, and they've earned the right to play in that tournament. I thought that we did as well, and was excited to potentially play in the NCAA tournament. But credit to them. I mean, apparently they did more to the committee than we did. But I think that there was some other teams too that you could argue. But again, it goes back to that if you're going to leave it to chance, then there's a small chance that you could walk away disappointed.
I wanted to ask you too. I remember when Coach Rose, your coach, his first year, you guys went to the NIT. What was, is there anything that maybe you can pull from that? Because that then set up a relatively young team that you were a part of on a long stretch of NCAA
Sure.
tournament appearances
You
for the
know,
men.
it's
Like,
it's
could
it,
it be a springboard?
yeah, no doubt about it. I think for any of us, that are here, it's been a while since we've won a postseason game. So there's another data point that we're trying to, achieve with this group, right? With this season, we've had quite a few things that we hadn't done yet that we've done. NCAA tournament, I think the experience of that would have been really good for everybody involved. And it's just a thing that you can build on where, hey, you don't know what it is till you've been there, and nobody's been there and seen it, other than the staff. And so I think with this, we haven't won a postseason game like, in the last few years and or in the WBIT. So can this group, let's start with winning a game in the postseason. Just like we hadn't won a game in the Big 12 tournament, and we went and did that. And it's been a while since we won 20 games, and the most games we won in the Big 12 before was 6. And so just trying to overcome these hurdles as we continue to grow as a program for now and the future, I think is really important. The postseason and managing. I mean, we by the time we play, it will almost have been 2 weeks since we played a game, and managing and evaluating, you know, the management of in between the two games. And even if we're in the NCAA tournament, you lose in the quarters in the Big 12, you're not going to play for 2 more weeks. I think it's a growing opportunity for us as a staff, as a program, that we do, as we evaluate any of this, to prepare for these postseason games what does that look like? So it's for sure a great thing for our group, to play a meaningful game towards the end of March. I think that if we can win, I think there's only 100 teams playing in the WBIT and the NCAA tournament. So a third of the country's only the ones playing in these tournaments. And then by the time you get to Monday, I think there's 24 teams, 16 in the NCAA tournament, 8 in this tournament playing, you know. I think it just says a lot that we have that opportunity, and credit to the players for what they've accomplished so far.
And
Yep.
to follow up on the meaningful opportunity, how nice is it to actually have now an NCAA sanctioned second, tournament
Yeah,
because before it used to
that's great.
be,
And I mean, you look at the tournament, like there's some
yeah.
seriously good teams. I mean, the team we play won 18 straight games this season, and it's like you're hoping to play somebody that, is not used to winning, but this team's used to winning. And every team in this tournament, I think there's only a handful that don't have a winning record, but most of them substantially are used to winning. And even from our own league, and that shows the depth of the league. Those four teams that two of them beat us, and it's a really good tournament. It's just not the NCAA tournament, but we still have a great time. I mean, we get to host a game in our building with our fans, potentially up to 3 times. I think it's good for the group.
If I could follow up maybe a little bit on that note, Coach, because you were touching on, yeah, I mean, you've been touching on just how important it is to kind of keep playing, and I think that's a big deal. Is there a little bit more of an emphasis with this group in particular? Because for all that you guys did, like sometimes I even had to remind myself this is still a really young group. You're relying on a lot of freshmen and sophomores, and it does feel like every bit of experience they can get should be able to make them better, right?
No question. Like there's no doubt. I believe Minnesota won this tournament last year, and now they're a high seed in the NCAA tournament. But I think it's also for some of the players on our team that this is the last go. I mean, it's a really big deal, and nobody wants to stop playing. And I couldn't say, I don't think that's the case with every team in the country right now. I think we have a group that wants to continue to play. Yes, they wanted the NCAA tournament. That didn't happen, but I think we have a group based on their approach to practices last week and even today that still wants to play and compete. And I mean, we're competing for a championship still, and that's got to be exciting.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned your opponent because Alabama A&M. This is a team that probably should capture plenty of attention. 20-win team, SWAC champions, probably should be in the NCAA tournament right now, but they got upset in their conference tournament. Does this team have your club's attention?
Yeah, full attention. Today was a practice more focused on us, just trying to hammer home that when we're at our best, what does that look like? That needs to come through very clearly in this tournament, where the ball's moving, we're playing aggressive defense, and we're playing our style and brand of basketball. But they are a very good team that is used to winning, and it doesn't matter if they're here or in their gym. They compete at a high level, and they do some things that are effective against teams that have played them this year that have bothered us a little bit. But I think the games that we played in the Big 12, you know, and Big 12 tournament leading up to this fit their style a little bit. So I'm glad we've played, Houston and Arizona State and in Colorado, where they're a little bit more off the bounce and to the rim and get to the foul line and offensive rebounding. So I think we'll be ready when it's time to tip it off. But yeah, just a good thing to continue to play, and a team that's hungry to continue to play.
Leo,
Yeah,
I wanted to ask you, Lee, on the WBIT schedule, and look, yeah, I know you're focused on the first round. You got to take care of business first there, but
Sure.
second round, the dates show a Sunday. I assume that they're going to adjust that
Yeah,
for
we
if you do advance,
we don't
correct?
play on Sunday.
Right.
We don't practice on Sunday. That game will be Monday if we're hosting.
Okay. Gotcha. Thanks.